God. This shit hard. 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 Oh my God.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Creators Toolkit podcast special episode, live from PNT Knitwear Studios in the Lower East Side. Yawny Blue here with Je'Vel and Mike Brown, and we are just here to close out the year and talk some shit and make some content. How you guys doing?
Good. Tired.
I'm doing good. feeling pretty present today. Saw Usher last night, so
Yes.
yeah. So feeling super inspired. Yeah.
A clip from the show went viral from last night.
Was it the dude?
Yes.
I can believe that.
There was a guy at the show. Usher gives out cherries during There Goes My Baby, and he gave a guy a cherry to feed to his girl, and the guy proceeded to like dry hump her.
Oh.
And the clip of that has gone viral. So
I mean, why not?
Thanks, Usher.
If you're Usher and people are, having their little moment, why not?
Right?
Yeah.
It's your whole brand. You're the Mr. Studio girl, so he was like, you ain't taking my girl.
Right. Yeah.
Javel, I have a question because you are new essentially to the audience. Could you tell the people who you are and what you do?
I hate this question. I'm joking. I am what's your song name? Multi-hyphenate bad bitch. No, I am a creative singer-songwriter, producer. Honestly, name it, I probably do it and do it well. I just love creating, and that's my whole brand. Whatever you need, whatever, I got you.
That's really dope. Because I feel like we all are multi-hyphenated creatives. I'm curious, like, how do you communicate like all the things you do? And that's for all of us. Like, how do you communicate the things you do, and really for yourself? I forgot, what were you saying? Like, to remind yourself that this is all, like, you do all of these things?
Oh, we were having a conversation just about, keeping at the forefront of our minds everything that we do, because, sometimes it's very easy to get caught up in the things that come to us the easiest or what pays the bills. So how do we keep ourselves grounded in everything that we do and remind ourselves and just be a multidisciplinary as much as we are a multi-hyphenate? How do we stay disciplined in all of the things that we do?
That's a good question. I think for me, it always is at the forefront, because I am always creating almost too much. And because of the nature of the way that I create, I'm always having to have multiple hats at all times. Like, if it's a single, I am my creative director, I am my lead of marketing, my PR, I am the one who edits my stuff, I literally do everything. So it's always in practice for me. And I think for me, it's usually me giving gratitude to myself. Every single time I create, I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Thank God I know how to do this. Thank God my elementary school teacher randomly told my mom, hey, your kid needs to study media. You should think about him testing for the specialized junior high, which my mom listened to. Then I learned how to edit videos. I've been editing videos since I was, how old are you when you go to high? 12?
Sounds about right, yeah.
I've been editing and filming and doing all of that since I was like literally 12. So I'm very thankful. Thank you.
I love that. Yeah, thank you, Self.
Thank you, Self.
I like that idea of using gratitude as a way to keep all of your skill set in check, because I think a lot of times I have the opposite effect. Like, I don't know if I express as much gratitude for how often I'm using all my skills. More often than not, I feel like I'm kind of scrambling to remind myself, like, don't forget you're an artist. Don't forget you're an A&R. Don't forget you're a music journalist, So I like that. I'm going to take a bit of that, because for me, I think because I spent so long working in disciplines that felt like you can get pigeonholed, like, being an engineer or just being a songwriter, I have this fear constantly of like, what if I get put in a box, or what if one skill set cancels out the other? So I think working in gratitude is a great one to practice. I think for me, the only real practice that I've had has been just trying to remind myself of how much shit I do and trying to do it as much as possible.
I think that's why when we had this conversation, I was asking, how do you project that into the world? Because when I think about myself, like, I'm a creative 24/7. So it's not like, oh, I'm a producer, I'm a this, I'm a that. I'm Mike Brown. Mike Brown is a full, whole creative. So how do I communicate that to other people, what I'm trying to showcase myself as at the time? Because it's like, I'm all of these things 24/7.
Right.
So it's like, how do you communicate that to people? Because it's like, when people think of Je'Vel, like, you know, the first thing I think of is fashion and then music. But it's like, when you're in that space of like, oh, I want to be recognized as a musician, or even you, Yawny, like, you know, I want to be recognized as the artist as opposed to the writer. You know, how do you set yourself up for that?
Oh shit! I think we do so much writing for like grants and for pitch decks and one sheets and stuff like that. Those have been the practice for me as far as reminding myself of all the things that I do, because I do feel like there are better ways for me to show up in the world as a full being, and better ways for me to consistently tell people everything that I do. But the one way that has helped me sort of finesse that as much as possible has been constantly writing out my bio and saying, like, how does this really showcase me? You know, how am I showing up for this grant, or how am I showing up for this job, and how am I being as fully myself as possible? That has really been the only. I don't know if I'm actually if I'm effectively doing it, but I know that I'm always thinking about it. I'll say that.
So I appreciate that. For me, I'm actually quite strategic with what I do and how I allow, I guess, people to experience me. Because I've learned through my own journey that sometimes, because I can do so much, I have to be very particular about who I allow to see that, because it can easily be turned against me. And I can be seen as a threat, and that has not
like in the workspaces, right?
Yeah. And that has not gone the right way a lot of times. So there are spaces where I just allow it to be, oh, Je'Vel is just fashion.
Yeah.
There are some people in fashion who literally don't even know that I make music.
How much of that do we think is specific to our generation? We're all like, well, you just welcome to the 30s or 30, the year or two into.
Yeah.
But like, how much of that is specific to our generation? Because I feel like younger artists seem like they get to kind of do everything and don't have as much of an issue. But I know for us specifically, like I know from like our experiences, and I'm sure you could probably chime in with like in fashion, people do sort of weaponize what you do against you and take away opportunities. Like you show up too much as an artist in a writing session, they're like, he want to be an artist, he can't be here. Or as a music development person.
And I think for us, it's really up to us to take that power back. I think, you know, for me, when I've been in the workforce, I always felt like I had to hide certain parts of me being in it. And then when I took a break from working to really focus on what I wanted to do, going back into the workforce, like, you know, before I started teaching, I was like really focusing on my own stuff, freelancing, doing audio stuff. And when I got back into it, it's like I've been so far removed from this space that you can't make me go backwards to hide myself for you. Because I've gotten so comfortable in being me. And when I'm in this space, I'm showing up as my full self. And I think in this phase of my life, and especially as I'm getting older, I think I'm like an old person where it's like, if I can't be my full self in this space, I don't need to be here.
I agree to some extent. Because I think what makes it so successful that I am able to be strategic is the fact that I know that I'm not hiding it.
Yeah.
I know that I'm making a conscious decision to be like, let me read you a little bit. And I would argue that it translates across generations. Like, it might not seem that way with the younger crowd, but it's still happening. And it will continue to happen for as long as people exist.
It feels so unhealthy, though, for artists, because I think, again, just navigating the music industry, the amount of times that I was dealing with executives who had never done a song a day in their lives. And it's like, I would value working with an executive who's done music or anything like that. Or just, again, being in places that weaponize the things you want to do. Like being an engineer, when the few years that I was sort of working in that space, they didn't want you to exhibit any other passion because it's just like it felt like you were getting in the way of the artist. And in a perfect world, I would wish it wasn't like that because I think the best people for these jobs are people that are active participants in the craft. Like I think it's very obvious when somebody's doing something and then begrudgingly sort of helping somebody else do it versus like people like us who I've seen you show up and be just as present as an artist as you've been as a songwriter for other people and as you've been as a creative director for other people. And I don't see any one of those canceling the other one out. So it's like you'd be the last person I'd discourage to do that, you know?
Right. I mean, sorry, you go ahead.
You got, so I was going to say, you know, and I think about it from, because I do definitely understand that perspective. And then I look at it from a perspective of what if you end up blocking yourself from an opportunity by not showing your full self? Because again, going back to education, letting people know, hey, I do a podcast. The school asked me to do a podcast. You know what I mean? And it's like, would I have gotten that opportunity if I held that part of me back?
I don't think so.
I will go. Yeah, I will go back to the idea of discernment, because there's always a time and place.
For sure.
And I always talk about you, in order to get something that you want, you literally have to ask for it. You have to move forward with it. However, use your same logic and say to myself, okay, I've acquired this thing and I am being completely my full self. But unbeknownst to me, Roger to the left, you're not Roger, but Roger's somewhere. Roger to the left has plans for me because they recognize this that can set me back years from my goal. And so for me, it's always, I look at myself as my greatest asset and I treat it as such. Yeah. So it's, like I said, it's never really a hiding thing. Like, even we were talking recently about my dating life where it's like, now in that part of my life, I'm thrusting people into it now because I'm like, okay, you need to see what I do, because if you're going to be that close to me, you're someone that I have to know won't put me back years.
Yeah.
As opposed to, let's say, a bigger company who has the power to dwarf.
And I think it also goes back to what you were saying about, you know, you pick and choose. I mean, it's like anything. Like if you're in a space, you know who you connect with, who you want to share stuff with. Like, you know, I'm not, like when I express this, I'm not saying I just walk around telling everybody, yo,
I know what
but you know, but it should be like that. I think we should preface that it should be like that
agree,
because I think what you're speaking to is you're speaking from a perspective of a person who has navigated in industries that can be cutthroat, and you've just mastered how to work through them. But it doesn't mean it's right or fair. Like no one in their right mind should see you actively showing up in the fashion space and deny you an opportunity because you want to be an artist, you know, or vice versa. So that's the thing.
And I'll give it to you in a simpler form. I used to be afraid to show up in my full queerness at a job. And it's like, if I could show up and tell you that I'm queer, I for sure could show up and tell you that I'm an artist, because before any of this, like, I'm a creative, you know what I mean? And it's like, I need you to know that just as much as I need you to know I'm black, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. You need to know I'm this too.
And you don't want to be in spaces that want parts of you. Because I remember navigating the music industry early on, and again, being signaled to like, hey, if you're going to engineer, don't let them know you're an artist. Hey, if you're going to be songwriting, don't be in there trying to sing all the songs.
Wild.
And shrinking to be like, I really want to be in this space, so let me figure out how to do this shit. That's why when you're talking, I fully understand, because it's like, obviously these industries have existed forever as they exist. So you're speaking from a very well-informed, very educated place of like, this is what I have to do to survive this industry. But I do hope and pray for more creatives to be able to show up in their fullness, because there's just so many incredibly talented people that get stifled. And to go back to what Mike was saying about like creating opportunities by showing up. Like I look at my job now and I feel like it's a product of me telling myself there has to be a place where I could be all aspects of myself.
And who's to say what you're doing right now doesn't lead to you becoming a supplier? Who's to say what you're doing right now, like as you tell people like, yeah, I released this project for this sync, or I released, you know, y'all work in sync. Y'all work in, you know, you
like creating the pathway.
Outside of the job, you are doing exactly what you're doing. So it's like, you know, why would you, and not to say that you are or aren't, but it's like, it's case by case.
No, but that's why, again, I relate to these because there are elements of that. Like, I'm fully at a job where I'm developing music for other people while I am still fully developing music for myself and for my friends and for my collaborators. And I worry sometimes if, like, what if an artist that I'm working with as a supplier says, like, well, shit, you can't tell me how to develop music. Like, you're still releasing music just like me. And it's like, what qualifies me to do that? What qualifies me to be in that position? And I think what qualifies me is my years of experience. What qualifies me is all the other things that I care about, that I'm knowledgeable about, that put me in that position. But people don't always see it that way. So I always just I feel like we're all actively talking about essentially sort of healing from years of industry traumas of saying make sure you package it so that I don't get offended, or I don't think you're gonna run off with the resources, and that does suck.
But I would go as far as saying it's not all creative. That's why I was like, it's human. You will find that you're navigating even your personal relationships like that with people who aren't creative at all. And it's like Yawny said, it shouldn't be that way. But if we're being realistic, it just is what it is. And again, going into the idea of me being my greatest asset, one thing that, irks me the most is when I'm slowed and it's not my fault. And so I literally avoid it like the plague. I'd be like, you a problem. I'm not going to talk to you.
And I think what you're doing is setting a boundary as opposed to being afraid. Like, I think there are people that are afraid to share what they have going on for whatever reason. I think you're more so like, I'm setting a boundary with this.
Yeah. And for me too, it's the mindset of like, stay ready. For example, let's say I'm in a setting where I have withheld what I can do, and an opportunity seizes itself. There I go.
And I would say, even as a creative, like, it's not just like with jobs, it's with family, it's with friends, it's with, like, if you don't feel safe enough to share what you are doing, or people are going to tear down what you're doing, like, I agree, like, don't share it at all.
Yeah. But it's tough because you really have to pay attention because, unfortunately, some people don't even know that that's what they're doing to you.
I feel like we were just talking about this in book club, like that burden of being so self-aware and having to be self-aware for everyone around us. Yeah. I will say, on a positive note, speaking of like ways to keep ourselves encouraged in everything that we do, collaborating with people like yourself is a big part of that, because I think I look at the two of you and the ways in which we collaborate, and I think you guys encourage me so much to be every aspect of myself, from a songwriter to an artist to a podcaster to a visual artist, whatever. Yeah. So I think that's a big part of it too, is like the more we create spaces like this to be every version of ourselves, the more that we can encourage that. So appreciate y'all for being in my life.
Same. I was going to say the same. Even when you were talking about, writing the decks and stuff, I remember the very, very first one that I saw you write. I think I told you, I was like, hey, I got chills. I was like, this was really, really just written so well.
Thank you.
And it, again, expanded my scope of like, this individual really understands structure, really, like, you can tell that there was years of just like figuring out yourself and how you wanted to translate things and how you're thinking about things, which is why I think we also work so well together, because we kind of do a bit of the same thing in that regard, where it's like, okay, but what do we mean? What are we trying to say? How does it,
what is the goal? What is the why?
Right. So there's never like oh my God, I'm feeling attacked, or I'm feeling, it's like, no. We're here for a product. We're here to push it and have it live its best life. And that's what I really love about working.
I have a question for both of y'all, and, especially for you, Yawny, because I see you as a community builder, especially in the creative space. And I really appreciate how, you put yourself out there every time to connect with people, but also to build and grow with people. And I'm curious to know, what advice do you have for other creatives, and just like really not being afraid to put yourself out there? And then for both of you, I'm curious to know, because we all met we didn't meet there, but we all met at the...
What do you mean? We met at the summit as well.
The GLAAD summit.
I mean, you did.
But
we didn't meet at the summit. We met after.
For sure. And we all actively chose to continue those connections after that experience. So I'm just curious, like, what advice do you have for people that are seeking community, seeking opportunity, but continuing to build community? Because, and I know I'm like a run on sentence with this question.
I'm following.
But everybody, essentially all of us were there, kind of there for
This purpose.
yeah. But
Ideally.
also some people were there for an opportunity, like in the concept of I'm working with GLAAD, I'm trying to get an opportunity. When you're seeking both, how do you continue to keep something like this going?
I mean, it's for me understanding that to build the empire, you need people to help you literally lay it brick by brick. And there are things that I could offer that someone else can. There are things that Yawny can offer that no one else can. There's things that you can offer that no one else can. So if we're all sitting and we're having conversations and we're bouncing ideas and bouncing things off the wall, every time Yawny comes up with something, I'm like, oh my God, your mind. And then vice versa. When you see it in motion, it's hard for you not to invest in it. And I think the problem is a lot of people are living in the place where they do see everything as an attack, or they don't see the worth of other voices. And it does them a disservice because I think they truly understand that a little bit later, which again has already slowed their time. Just start the conversations.
Yeah, and Yawny, you definitely you give people a lot of space, kind of going back to what Je'Vel was saying, because I see us all as leaders, and I've been in spaces where we're all leaders, and sometimes people want to be heard so bad that they don't hear what other people are saying. But Yawny, how do you create space for people to be heard, but also, step up when you need to step up and be heard?
I feel like I'm a product of years of doing it wrong. So I'm in a phase of life where I am just kind of not trying. I'm actively doing all the things that I wish I had done before, or giving people the things that I wish I had been given before, or vice versa. For me, I think the answer is first really being settled in who I am and what I'm doing. And I think that goes back to the first question of like, how do we show up in all of our facets? I think just living a life where I'm trying to constantly remind myself of everything I do has helped me build a stronger foundation for knowing every time I show up, this is what I have to offer. And then also giving everybody else the same courtesy of understanding that hopefully they're doing the same type of work and that they have a lot of shit to offer too. And always trying to be of service to whatever the greater product is, and create space. Like I by no means have had the worst run of the music industry at all. I'm very blessed for the run that I've had, but I've seen how it can hinder people. Like I remember being in rooms with people who just straight up say like, that person's not a star. That person's terrible. That person shouldn't sing. And like, we just recently rewatched Making the Band. Well, I rewatched Making the Band 3 and Mike had to suffer through it.
Diddy.
But we watched them like destroy them girls. Like they would be watching them from like another room and the girls couldn't see them and be like, yeah, she cool. She ain't got no ass though. She look fat. She not really a star. She not, and that has rippled throughout the music industry. So to loop my question all the way back, knowing that that's roughly 90% of the rest of the shit, whatever little 10% I can share with y'all, I'm gonna pour into you because I didn't always have that, and I don't know what the hell was said about me when I walked out of the room, and I want to make sure that I pour into people. So yeah,
that's dope. And it's funny you brought up Making the Band because the way they were tearing those girls down, it was like they were invalidating them. And I feel like all of us, to some degree as creatives, seek validation, seek to have somebody see us or save us. And like, how do y'all deal with that in your own lives? And it's okay if we are still seeking that from someplace, but I'm curious, like, how do you just self-validate and not chase acceptance?
That one's a tricky question for me because even when I was seeking that validation-ish, I felt like it was about me, and not to make it some conceited thing. It was never about that. It was more so I lost my grandma pretty young. I think I was 14, maybe. No, I forgot which age I was. But I lost her pretty young, and it kind of put life into perspective for me of just how quick, how unpredictable, how just literally we're just here. And for me, it all became about, okay, so I'm here. I don't know why I'm here. I mean, I have my ideas of why I'm here, but I just needed to go and do things and live and enjoy my life and try to reach my best potential. So I think over time, the constant doing and the constant living in that moment, like, hey, Jay, you're here for but so long, the validation started being like ripped off of everyone else and started being put back into myself. It's like, am I making me happy today?
Yeah.
And obviously I can connect with other people and be like, hey, do you like this? Do you don't like this? I normally lean into, does it make sense for me to listen to that? Especially with the book that I'm working on. So many people give me their ideas and they're writing and they're talking, and I have to be the one to be like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And what I like about Yawny in creating that that boundary of where you are able to say how you feel, it's never coming from an egoic place. You literally tell us how you feel in the moment. And I think from the projects that we've done, well, again, because we all work pretty similar, even Sue works pretty similar to how we do, Yawny will always say, hey, if he doesn't like anything, he'd be like, I don't really feel that, or I don't like that. And I think a huge part of us leaning into that validation is not trusting ourselves, which is what you said. You've learned to love yourself. You've learned to be okay with your own thoughts, ideas, and it shows. And I think that's pretty much how you keep that at bay. You're like, okay, I mean, we could disagree with you, but you still said what you said. You know,
I said
right.
what I said. Okay, so for me, I think I lived such a life of seeking validation and had like these pinnacles of people that I thought were going to be able to like really validate me. And when they didn't, I had to realize like, oh, nobody's going to save me. Like nobody's going to save me. I have to really figure this shit out. And it's funny because Mike watches The Wiz like every other week, it feels like. And obviously Wicked just came out, and a lot of Wizard of Oz in our house. And I've been having this feeling since watching Wicked of like, no more wizards. Like, I don't want to keep setting up people to be this wizard and making this fucking trek and getting there and the motherfucker's not real. And I feel like I've had a lot of wizards in my life that I have
thought you were gonna
pursued.
say after watching Wicked, you had this feeling of you're gonna be popular.
Popular.
Wow. That too. But no, I you see that's how bad it's gotten.
Oh God.
No, I have that's the biggest thing I took away from that film is like feeling like this character that is not being seen by everybody, that's being marginalized. It's all of this shit, and you think this one person's gonna fix it, and you get there, and they're looking at you like you're the one. Like you, so it's like, oh, okay, we're all the one. Like there is no wizard, there is no nothing. This has become a big Wizard of Oz allegory, but no more wizards.
That's funny you say that though, because I do feel different points. Like I've never been somebody to like chase the wizard. But there have been people in my journey that have felt like wizards, and they always reflect back to me like, nah, you don't need me. And I think fear for me has always made me feel like, no, I do.
Yeah.
And they remind me continuously till I get the point of like, I got this. And I think I've been rejected so much in my journey. Like I've always just had a really fuck it attitude about everything that I do. Like, you know, when I was making music, people told me, don't do it. You suck. I continued.
It's terrible.
You know, at every stage, playing basketball, people would tell me the same thing. I continued. And I, when I wasn't open about my sexuality, I had such a chip on my shoulder that like that was my goal, to prove you wrong. So if you tell me, you know, I had a teacher, and shout out to him now,
He's dead.
I'm just kidding.
He's still alive.
Sorry, God damn.
No, he's still alive. But he told me like nobody comes out the gate selling beats. You got to start at the bottom. And I was so in wanting to prove him wrong that I did. And he still tried to shit on me. He told me, well, people buy music from you because you're a nice guy, not because it's good.
That's fucked up.
And at the same time, I still say fuck you and keep pushing, you know? And
But those are people, to go back to what I was saying about acknowledging what Je'Vel was saying, those are people who've navigated these industries and they've built up these things that they feel help them thrive or help them keep other people in check. Because a lot of times it does feel like in entertainment and the things that we do, there are people that kind of feel like they got to keep you in check. Like people used to tell me I skipped the line. Like that was a thing of like, I would get like, start to realize things weren't making sense and be like, hey, like, let's figure this out. And be like, Yawny, like, relax. Like, you're way ahead of the game. Like, you skipped the line. Like, and I would just sit there like, okay, let me just be happy I'm here. And realizing afterwards, like, oh, those are systems put in place to keep you in check. And that kept that person in check and the person before them in check. So it's really fucked up that he said that to you because, fuck that guy.
And I don't personalize it because I was able to share that with him. And that's why I say shout out him. But I was going to ask you, like, what would you tell that version of yourself because that version of yourself is somewhere out in the world, but what would you tell that version of yourself that, you know, is being held back by other people?
Man, take a break. Tell that version of myself to take a break, take a step back, and go do what feels the most authentic to you and go where the love is. And all of the cliches that you hear, they're fucking true. Like no situation, no nothing is completely bad or completely good, but there is for sure a feeling that you get when you're in a place where you are being poured into fully in the right way and the way that you need to be poured into. And I would encourage that version of myself to just assess where you're at and is it worth, is the 30% pouring worth the 70% of you not feeling great all the time? That's what I would tell that version of myself.
How about you, Je'Vel?
I actually remember exactly what I told myself. And it was, oh my God, I just lost it. I don't remember whose quote this is, but it says, someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And then I added my own piece on, which was just go get it done.
Yeah.
I think I would tell myself, if people are not pouring into you, they just may not be your people.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. That's as simple. And again, that's what I said, nothing's completely bad or completely good because it's not to vilify people. Everybody's going through their own shit, but just understanding like the same way it's up to them to assess what they're going through and why they're doing whatever and you know, telling you whatever. Assess why you're there. Assess why you think it's okay to be there. Assess why you haven't made the leap to go other places that are more fulfilling because there's a big fucking beautiful world out there and there's so much opportunity and there are a million ways to do what we love. And I tell that like I've been speaking to, shout out to Building Beats. I've been getting a chance to speak to like younger artists and I think the biggest thing I've been telling them is like, you know, the way that you are creative when you're making a song, you're making a podcast, you're making a painting, use that same creativity in your career. I guarantee you, no matter what you've been taught about, what paths are laid out for you, like that producer, that teacher told you, you got to do this and this first. I believe the same shit. Like, you know what? I'm not Chris Brown, I'm not Usher, so I'm gonna have to be a songwriter first to then be an artist, so then I could be just as creative in the pursuit of your career as you are in your creativity. And I promise you will find a pathway that you didn't know existed, or you'll fucking create it. You'll build it.
It's funny you mentioned talking to students because when I talk to students, I tell them, don't take yourself too serious and to have fun. And I'm curious to know, how do y'all not take yourself too serious and have fun in what you're doing?
Work with each other.
Right. I was like, have you met me? Child.
We create space, like the way you were saying earlier about me being honest about shit. Like I thought about how humor used to be a way for me to get off uncomfortable emotions because you tell people things in a funny way, they won't get as upset at you. But I've also realized that humor has been a way to just, like you said, not keep myself so serious. Like if I'm in a session, I don't care what I'm singing about, what I'm writing about. I want to have fun. I want to make people laugh. So I think humor, really just incorporating humor as much as possible in my creative process.
I would literally say same. I tap into my inner child a lot. Literally, if you're in the studio, you've been there, I think, where no shade. If the sound is hitting, I'm dancing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm in the corner. I'm losing my mind to the point where Yawny has to be like, Je'Vel, we can hear you on the track.
Right. Yeah.
But no, I'm having a good time, and it's the same thing with like when I'm recording, like a let's say like content or music video or whatever. I've already planned everything, you know. And of course, there's a little added, like my brain is always in switching mode because not only am I producing, so I have to take care of like time and stuff like that. I also have to direct it, and then I'm also thinking about post edit, other edit. Like I'm thinking of everything, and I am.
We literally get to play for a living.
Yes.
We get to play.
Yes.
We get to be children. We get to. You know what we did last Sunday? We played dress up
We sure
in an
did.
empty room with a photographer and a makeup artist. We literally,
sure did.
yes, somebody might call it a photo shoot, but we literally just played dress up
Yeah.
and pretend.
Yeah.
We played pretend and dress up.
Yeah, literally. And
Like, how can you take that so fucking serious?
And how do you remind yourself to play when you are in those moments of being so deep into the serious of it?
trusting yourself. I think the playfulness comes from, literally knowing that you have put a lot of time into your craft and you know what you're doing and you know you're not going to produce trash. So you get to chill for
I do. Yeah, you're right. You know, that's so true. I think confidence does welcome the play. I think at times in my life where I wasn't as sure of what I was doing, I was showing up scared and tense, and play wasn't as in the forefront. But I will say again, that's why I said earlier, like I have not had the worst go of anything. Like I'm so blessed. I've always had very childlike people around me. I've always been blessed to either I bring it out of people or I just attract those people at that very foundational level. I've always been blessed to have people around me that do have a lot of fun, at least in the creative process. So I'm grateful for that. Yeah. What about you? How do you keep yourself from taking it too serious?
I think giving myself the space to just let it be what it's gonna be. Not being so in my head of like where this has to go or what I have to do with it. Like sometimes just being able to just get a feeling off. I feel like some of my most fun and my best experiences have been in just showing up to a blank canvas and allowing it to be that. You know, like when we did This Shit Hard, it was quick.
And yes,
it wasn't that serious. It was just like, let's just do something. And it ended up being something really good. But it was also like, this is coming from a place of like you said, play and exploring. You know, I think giving myself the space to explore. And we talked about this earlier, but, you know, not being so, like for me, not being so committed to what I have to be. Like if I'm making music, if it's not speaking to me, I can move to a painting. I can move to taking a picture. I can move to a podcast. I don't have to just like, this medium is not speaking to me right now. I need to force it because then it starts becoming work.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said, especially the idea of letting it be. And I really think that's what it is too, where we forget that art is art. And that you're creating, like even when you mess up or you think that you mess up, it births something else. So that also really takes a lot of the edge off for me because I'm like, okay, the sun was moving the wrong direction at some point, and I was like, it's okay.
You pivot.
And what happened in one of those shots is it colored an image, and I think you pointed it out. You're like, I like this color. And literally the sun had just moved for like 2 seconds. Well, not the sun, but was it the sun or the cloud? I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. And then I used that to then color the actual image to match it.
And I think, you know, kind of circling back to what both of y'all said, I think the confidence, like just not showing up without fear and showing up with other people that give you the space and the safety to play. Because I have been in spaces with people that are so serious and it's like there's nothing to even be serious about. There's not even a product to to be serious about.
Yeah. I think that goes back to again being on these paths and in these industries that sometimes I think if you haven't had the space to really feel that freedom or whatever that is, people do get really rigid or just really stuck in the idea of what it looks like. And, you know, I hope for more people to release those things because there is no right or wrong way to do this. Like, show up and just make your art and have fun, and don't lock yourself into what you think it looks like to be an artist or to be a creative, to be a podcaster, to work in fashion. Like, it can literally look a million different ways. But I think for a lot of people, especially, like, again, we're all older people, like older, we ain't old, but we've all been doing our careers at least 10 years plus,
We've been
is what I'm
around a
saying. We're tenured creatives, and there are a lot of people who are just tenured dreamers, and that's not shade to them, but there are people who might spend a lot longer thinking about what they want to do than doing it. And then when they start, they just kind of lock themselves into like, well, the songwriter shows up with a piece of paper and a pen, and they got to sit in the corner and be weird for 3 hours, right? Or I can only write when I'm drunk and high. Or fashion is only if this person approves it. Or
and it's funny you say that, because like when I heard you say that, the feeling that came up for me is like, yeah, this career is a dedication of a lifetime. Like, I've been recording myself since I was in 3rd grade. I've been making up songs from that same time, from my parents buying me that recorder and being able to have that in hand and record myself to leading to this microphone. You know what I mean? Like, you've probably been dressing yourself since, you know, since you could pick out your clothes. You know what I mean? So it's really dope to see, again, like you said, tapping into that inner child, and that inner child still being here. Like, it never goes away. That's
actually another good point when you go back to like, how do you not take this serious? Understand that you're always creating. I think sometimes people look at, like, you know, we were talking the other day about SZA, last night we were talking about SZA, and I remember reading an interview where she was saying, like, you know, I'm tired of like making all these sad songs, and it's like some people really lock themselves into like, it's not a good song unless it's really sad. It's not this unless it's this, and it's like, you're literally always creating and always having fun, and anything can change your life. So just treat everything like art. That's another way to not take it as serious. Like, it doesn't have to just be, this is my medium, I gotta write, every song gotta be gut wrenching, soul crushing, Lauryn Hill miseducation level.
Everything is not the one.
Everything is not the one.
Summer the 16.
Don Julio.
Julio, that's my song.
Yeah.
But I have a question for you. So we're here till 5:30.
Yes.
Can I ask this question so we can get it on camera?
Yes.
And so
do it.
This is for everybody. I'll answer it as well. Okay. But you get 1 minute to pitch yourself.
Ooh.
Oh,
tell me who you are.
I'm so tired.
And why we should pay attention to you.
You should go first, Mike Brown.
Why do I have to go? I'll go first. Fuck it.
There you
go. So, are you gonna set the timer?
Right.
Or do I need to set the
who
timer?
has time? Who has time?
Got you right now.
All right. Let me know when I need to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a pitch by Mike Brown, starting now.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Mike Brown. I am the host of The Art of Letting Go. I'm an artist. I'm a thought leader. I'm everything. And what I do, why you should pay attention to me, is because I make you feel, I make you heal, and I inspire you with everything I do. Multi-hyphenated bitch, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
You got 37 seconds
I love
left.
that song.
Oh, shit.
You ate that.
Yeah, you know, I have been, like I said, doing this since I was in elementary school, and ideas are constantly floating to me. So, you know, if you work with me, one of them ones I might be able to pull out of the cloud and give to you.
I love it.
You got 20 seconds left.
Oh, damn.
Well, he doesn't have to use the whole
Yeah, I
minute.
really don't. Like, that's
I mean,
That
no,
was
we
the
got to treat
challenge.
him like
That
he
was the
treats people
challenge.
in book club, and he give you the whole minute and just stare at you.
That's cool.
Stare at you until the timer will go off. It didn't go off yet.
Child, keep going, I guess.
We still got time?
Nah.
There we go.
I was like, shit.
All right, Je'Vel.
Okay.
You ready?
Hit me.
Wait, hold on. Let me get back to the timer. This is a 1 minute pitch, Je'Vel.
Hey y'all, this is Je'Vel, and I am a singer, songwriter, producer, well-rounded artist, and I'm a dream maker. I went from the island of St. Lucia, not many resources, to the top of the fashion game, producing the Met Gala as one of the only Black managers. And yeah, I'm going about my life just creating and dreaming and making the impossible happen every single day. The end. What? How much time do I have left?
Got 30 seconds.
God damn, I ate that though. Hold
You did.
on.
You really did. All right, you know what?
Hold
We
on.
don't gotta make you take the whole minute, unless you want to.
No. Okay.
Sure.
I was like, what
That
else
was,
is
that was perfect. I love
That was incredible. You ate that.
So should we set the timer for you?
Yes.
Yawny Blue?
All right, y'all ready?
Let's see.
Oh shit.
And this is a pitch by Yawny Blue. Hit us.
Yo, what's up? My name is Yawny Blue. I am a singer, songwriter, and music development expert. What's the question again? Why you should pick me?
Yes.
Well, yes. Sorry. My name is
Why
Yawny.
should we pay attention to you?
Why you should pay attention to me? Okay, my name is Yawny Blue. I am a singer, songwriter, music development expert. You should pay attention to me because I have been working in music and creativity for the last 20 years at every capacity of it, from songwriting to singing to artist development, music journalism, everything. I'm so passionate about music. I'm so passionate about uplifting artists, especially marginalized artists. And I just want to create a world where more diverse voices are being pushed to the forefront, more diverse ideas and concepts and people are getting an opportunity
10
to shine.
seconds.
So you should pay attention to me because I'm the best at doing that, and my music is fire.
5 seconds.
And this is my logo, and God bless you.
Yes. I love that. I love that. I feel like I'm actually going to use that line though, because I do inspire. I make you feel. And
make you
if
heal.
you pay attention, I will teach you how to heal.
Period.
Oh,
Bars.
Bars. Okay, we
But
got
I'm not a rapper.
Right. Yes, you are. You're not a rapper?
Wow.
Wait,
I'm
you just
everything.
literally did a whole pitch and then took rapper out of it.
No, I'm everything.
Okay, every woman. Let's wrap up with some gratitude. We are closing out 2024. It has for sure for me been one of my most transformative years. The two of you are a big part of that, so thank you guys for being a part of my year. I'll just really quickly jump off 3 things I'm grateful for, and then 3 things I'm manifesting, and I'll pass it down.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the ability to still create from a place of love and excitement and joy, and being able to put that on full display this year. I'm grateful to wake up every day and work on music and art, and I am grateful to still feel full of potential and feel limitless. And going into next year, I want to tap more into that potential. I want to create at the highest level. I want to see my dreams really go above and beyond and continue to create new pathways for myself. Real tangible, hardcore things I want to manifest for next year. I would love to do some more shows. I would love to develop music for a brand or company at like the highest level, like doing Sonic Identity. And I would love to, I don't know what the last one is. To be continued. I don't know, but that's 2. All right.
Okay.
Who wants to go next?
What am I grateful for? I am grateful for my health, mentally, physically. I have really been investing in just making sure that the tempo is templing. I'm extremely grateful for all of my friends, literally both of you. Everyone that is within my circle serves a very, very, very integral part to me, my life, my journey. I am very excited for everyone, and I'm very excited for myself. And I would actually say the third thing that I'm very grateful for is, my parents still, I know they're pretty young. They're still pretty young, but, just still being able to have conversations, hard conversations. Yeah. And what am I manifesting? This damn book. Which I'm getting closer, guys. I'm almost at the finish line. But hopefully next year I can land that book deal, which will hopefully come with a book song deal. Yes. Maybe fully transitioning out of fashion. I don't know. I really want that to happen. No shade to my fashion girlies. Love y'all. Will always be a fashion boy, but it's time for me to fly low. And what's the third? The third one is kind of like a stump.
Right?
I'll steal Yawny's. And and to continue to make music with some dope people. Like, that'd be lovely.
That's fire. So it's three expressions of gratitude and 3 manifestations. All right. So 3 things I am grateful for. I'm grateful for my community. You know, when you said friendship, I think that was like one of the first things that came up for me was like friendship, partnership, family. Like I really have a supportive community of people that really not only believe in me, but they just pour into me in like just when this shit feels hard, like I know I have community that I can lean on, and I'm super grateful for that. I'm grateful for my resilience. I think I've experienced like some of my highest highs and really a lot of my lowest lows this year, and to be able to still like keep my head up, you know, my shoulders rolled back, to smile in the face of all adversity, like I'm super proud of that. And you know, I really own that. I own that. And the third thing I'm grateful for is just, man, like just my awareness. I really am. Like, I feel like when I am in those spaces, being able to pull myself out, being able to be present, being able to, you know, as Kendrick said, turn the TV off. Like, you know, if I'm drinking too much, if I'm smoking too much, like to say, hey, what's the why? You know, so I really appreciate my awareness. As far as manifestations for 2025, I am manifesting that I am able to financially thrive off of my creativity, to be able to really create opportunities, not only for myself, but for the people I love off of what I'm doing, to be a driving force to support people in whatever their dreams and their goals are as well. I want to be debt free. And and one more, and not even a selfish one. I just want to travel more next year. Like I want to be able to travel more and really afford to like take time to go spend time places and have that luxury. Yeah.
Amen.
I love that.
I appreciate y'all for being here today. This has been a lot of fun, and yeah, I think for those who are tuning in, those who are watching this, I think the biggest takeaway is like this shit is whatever you want it to be. Truly, like pour into yourself, take care of yourself, make the shit that you like, find the people that you fuck with, take your time. There's no rush. There's no wizard.
There is no.
You are the wizard. Yeah. Anything else?
Creators Toolkit.
Yeah. Plug yourselves. I'm at Yawny Blue everywhere. YAWNYBLEW.
You can find me on Instagram. I'm still building y'all. JE.VEL.
You could find me on all social media at Just Mike Brown or the Art of Letting Go podcast. Also the artoflettinggopodcast.com and Feats and Beats.
Period.
It's going to be my OnlyFans.
Period. Do you want to plug any of your classes?
Yes. I am doing a workshop on the artist way. We're doing our 3rd cohort. That's so dope to be able to, you know, guide people on their journeys of creativity. Like at the core of everything I do, I really just want to inspire people and help people. And I'm trying to create as many touch points of like, if the podcast isn't for you, maybe my music is. If my music isn't, maybe a community conversation is. Community conversation isn't. Maybe it's a workshop. And if it's none of those things, then fuck you. No, it's not that. But maybe it's just not for you. And that's okay too. But yeah, I love y'all and I appreciate y'all.
Je'Vel, you want to plug anything?
We got a new song coming out. Even though we haven't decided if it's called King or Kings.
I think
2 things can exist.
right? I think Kings.
Yeah, let's go with
It's
Kings.
2 of us on it.
Well, Kings is coming out soon.
Yes, new music in January.
Yeah, it's fun. It's very fun. It's so crazy. I think what inspired the song kind of encompasses what we were talking about. I came across this clip of Sarah Jake Roberts, right? That's her name?
From Sex and the City?
No. That's Sarah Jessica Parker.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that too, though. I was like, oh,
No.
Carrie Bradshaw?
She's TD Jakes' daughter.
Okay.
And she was giving the sermon, and she talked about. Oh my God, do we have to? Can you grab my phone? It's like attached to my contraption that's happening over here. And she when I tell you, encompasses literally our conversation. Hold on, I'm just gonna play it really quickly.
You can send it to me after, and I'll drop it in too.
Oh, per.
Yeah, we'll do that.
It's coming, guys. It's coming. Here we go.
Sit in a room where nobody knows what's going on but me and you. He says there's about 30 people in the room. These 30 people have no idea that Saul's about to be king. And I want you to be okay with not everyone knowing who you are, but you. Oh, God. I need you to be okay with not everyone understanding the grace and the anointing that is on your life. It might just be you and God for a season. Don't worry, soon enough everybody will see what God saw. But can you be okay if nobody knows it but you and God? Nobody knows how talented I am. That's all right, let them sleep. Nobody knows how gifted I am. That's all right, let them sleep. Because you're not ready for it to be exposed anyway. But God will sit you in the room to give you a preview of what the room feels like before the room knows that it's you. Because I want you to see the character of all the people who are going to be around you before they know that you're king. Because when they find out you're king, they may want something from you. Yeah. I want you to see everyone properly. So I'm going to sit you in the room. But the room's not going to know who you are. I don't know if you've ever had an encounter with someone who didn't really know who you were until they knew who you were. And you say to yourself, before you knew who I was, you didn't treat me that well. But now that you know who I am, I see you. But that's all right, I forgive you. Because when you didn't know who I was, I knew who I was.
There we go. So that inspired the song.
So I have 3 things for that. 1, that was really dope and inspiring.
Fire.
2, when it came on, I really was expecting Sarah Jessica Parker. I like the voice kind of threw me a little bit. And then 3, why you laugh when she said, God, because I laughed too. After